Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Lukenessmonster, episode 66. This is a series on the channel where I answer you guys' questions in the comments down below. So if you guys do want your questions answered in next week's video, comment down below in this week's video and I will try my very best to answer it. We also did start a new series on the channel called Customs, Collections, and Recent Pickups. This is actually a series where I just feature your guys', as the name says, customs, collections, and recent pickups. So, if you do want your photos featured in next week's episode, tag me on Instagram under the hashtag #AskLukenessmonster, and I will try my best to feature it. I know I've already had a ton of submissions, so if your photos aren't featured right away, don't worry, I didn't forget. I'm just trying to catch up with all the different ones submitted, and unfortunately from now on I won't be accepting DMs with entries for this segment, and that's only because I just get a ton of DMs and it's really hard to keep track of like which ones are which and which ones are even for the specific customs, collections, and recent pickups. So if you do want your photos featured, you have to use the hashtag on Instagram #AskLukenessmonster. Anyway, first up with customs, collections, and recent pickups for today, we do have Gabe Sierra, and he does actually have a really cool collection here. So, first up, he does have, at the very top of his shelves, he has the Hot Toys 501st. This is a figure that I've really wanted, and I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on. It is a pretty expensive figure considering it is Hot Toys, and I really would like to get around to buying it. And I just really haven't got to it yet, so hopefully one day I will, but man, that guy does look incredible. But he also does have a section of Black Series right next to it, and from the figures I can pick out, most noticeably out of those is Archive Anakin. This is a very expensive figure on the aftermarket right now, and it is looking absolutely incredible. Cannot wait to get mine, but he also does have Echo and Shirtless Maul, two also super amazing figures looking super cool in that collection. Moving it down a little bit, he does have some random TVC and Power of the Force figures looking super cool as well. I collect a few TVC here and there and a few Power of the Force, but I haven't gotten into it as much as you, but man, good for you. That collection does look super cool. And then something that I was super excited about when I first saw this photo is he does have the Mcfarland Avatar figures. This is a set that I actually did pick up. I did kind of unbox them and review them on the channel. It'll be pinned in the card right now if you do want to check it out. But yeah, these are a few figures that I had to pick up. I'm a huge Avatar fan, and when Mcfarland announced them and they started hitting Walmarts, I had to track them down. So I'm glad you like it as much too. Only ones I didn't get was Zuko. I love Zuko. I love the character. I'm just not I'm not a huge fan of his season 1 design. So hopefully they release a season 3 design later, but as of right now, this is what we got. We also do have a recent pickup from Red7567 with a Trapper Wolf. This was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and they just did ship out, so congrats for getting your Trapper Wolf. This is a figure that I really wanted to order, but I had just spent the money to get the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Cantina set, and I didn't want to spend too much money in one day, so I decided to pass on Trapper Wolf. One, I probably shouldn't have, just because it's a super cool figure, especially with the likeness of Dave Filoni, but yeah, congrats man, super cool figure. We also have a recent pickup / custom from Skywalker Hendrix. My boy Skywalker actually does have his own YouTube channel too. That'll be linked in the description if you do want to check that out. Super cool. But it looks like what he did, he took his recently picked up clone shock troopers from the Bad Batch, and he removed the pauldron. So yeah, it looks super cool. I actually did this with one of mine. I also have a video up on the channel talking about how I removed mine as well with a step-to-step tutorial. So if you do have this figure and want to remove the pauldron like Skywalker Hendrix here, click the video on the card right now. That will be a little bit of a tutorial on how to do it, but man, Skywalker, this looks absolutely amazing. You got two. I actually only got one to remove the pauldron with, and I really wish I did get more because they look absolutely incredible. Also have Echo Bricks here with a recent pickup. Man, I see you in the comments all the time, so thanks so much for sending in an entry. And he actually did recently get Commander Wolf. This was a figure that I had wanted forever, and it was super expensive in the aftermarket till they finally did a re-release of this guy, and I know it's been pretty cheap since then, but man, awesome figure, amazing face print with the removable helmet, one of the best Black Series clones, so congrats man, awesome figure, and I'm glad you finally got it. And last up is 28 Customs, or I guess it is in Roman numerals, so that might not be how you pronounce your name, but the numbers go out to 28, so I just said 28. He actually does have a custom Season 7 Maul, and this guy looks absolutely incredible. Man, Hasbro, please do a Season 7 Maul. I'm begging you. It would just be incredible. I'm a huge Season 7 Clone Wars fan, or just Clone Wars fan in general. And now that we already have the 332nd, we have the Mandalorian, and we also have Season 7 Ahsoka. Season 7 Maul is just a no-brainer at this point, so please make Season 7 Maul. And I believe we are also getting Season 7 Jesse in the future too, so come on, Season 7 Maul is just begging for a re-release. Or, not a re-release, just any release. Anyway guys, this is actually going to do it for customs, collections, and recent pickups for today. We're going to move on to the first question. And the first question from Yeats Productions, he asks, do you think we'll ever see any Vader Immortal figures? I would really like to see that weird lightsaber and the droid. So this is a very interesting question. I really hope so, because I very much did enjoy playing Vader Immortal. But there's just not a ton of figures I guess you really could do. I mean, obviously you could make Darth Vader, but we've already seen a Darth Vader before. We've seen tons of Darth Vaders in the Black Series. And the only thing that would really be different is really just them putting it in the different packaging. You could maybe do the main character's droid, but she doesn't have legs. So I mean, it would be a very interesting figure to do. Obviously, you can make her have like a little hover stand, kind of like Baby Yoda here in front of you, but it would just be weird. Obviously, you can't do the protagonist because you're the protagonist. It's in first person, and you can't really see what he looks like. You never see what he looks like. You only see his gloves, so that wouldn't really work. So the only other people I guess you could really see them doing is the Admiral guy with like the robot arm. Totally forgot his name, but this is one I'd love to see. Looks incredible, and I love that robot arm. So that would be one that I think could be possible. And then maybe one of the like Homeland Mustafarians. I totally pronounced that wrong, but yeah, I just don't think this one would sell super well. I don't think people would know what it is, and they'd think it's just a random alien. Maybe you can market it as like a background Cantina alien, but I think those are really the only ones that you could make from the game. I would love to see the lightsaber, though. I know that Galaxy's Edge actually did have this on like a vote for which lightsabers they wanted to see. It unfortunately did not win, but that means that we might get it in the park later. Not in figure form, but we might actually get it in replica form, which would be super cool. The next question says, ask Lukenessmonster if you could have a clone commando or any ARC trooper in any other clone force, what would it be? 104th, 41st, 212th, etc. So we actually already have a clone commando in the 212th, and that's Gregor. Most people don't know he is part of the 212th, but he actually is, so that's super cool. But for clone commando, I'd love to see a 501st clone commando. Haven't seen one before, and I'd love to see what they could do with it. I think it'd be super cool. I might throw up a few different mock-ups or just test designs of what a 501st Commando could look like. But for an ARC Trooper, I'm going to go flip-flop. I'm going to go 212th ARC Trooper. I don't care who you do, but I think a 212th ARC Trooper Waxer and Boyle would be super cool. Unfortunately, Waxer dies, so that doesn't really work. But you never know. Boyle never dies, so you could get an ARC Trooper Boyle. We never really saw what happened to him. We did see him Phase 2 form, but we never saw him after that. So he could have been promoted to ARC Trooper, and that could eventually be canon. We don't really know, but I would love to see him in ARC Trooper form eventually. J-Man22 asks, do you think we'll see a Book of Boba Fett, Finnick, and Boba revealed in TVC before the end of the year? 100% yes, I do, and that's because Yakface actually recently just posted this image, which is the TVC logo, but it is with the Book of Boba Fett colors, and this confirms that we will be seeing it very, very soon, and they will be coming to TVC. We just don't know when, so I'm guessing it will be before the end of the year, just considering with the whole Bring Home the Bounty reveals every Tuesday. This would be a perfect reveal for one of those Tuesdays, so I'm guessing we will get it pretty soon. Fenner Armstrong asks, do you think Hasbro will reuse the old Jango Fett mold for possible Attack the Clones re-release next year, or would they make a new mold, and would it be a deluxe figure? So man, I really, really hope they do a new mold. That new Boba Fett mold would take a little bit of tweaking to fit Jango's armor perfectly, but it's such a good mold compared to the old Jango Fett body. I know 1313 podcast is going to hurt you guys, but that old Jango mold just sucks. It's really, really bad. It cannot stand up, has poor articulation, it's just not very good. So I do hope they do some sort of new mold, and my guess is if it's just a re-release, it'll be standard figure because the original is a standard figure, but if it is the brand new mold, I'm guessing they'll probably bump it up to a deluxe figure. That'd be my personal opinion and what I'd personally hope for, but man, they gotta fix that Jango mold because it is so bad. Echo Bricks asks, have you ever considered doing toy photography? Also, what figures do you think will come out for the 20th anniversary of Attack the Clones? So I have done a few toy photography photos here and there on my Instagram, but I don't do a ton. I just don't really have a ton of time to go do that. I mean, it's cool, and I love people that do it. I really appreciate the community that do it, but it's just not really what I do. I don't have a eye for photography like that. It's something I'd love to get into, but I just really haven't yet. For the 20th anniversary Attack the Clones, I think we're going to get a ton of re-releases of figures that have already been released in the Black Series, but for strictly new figures, I really want to get a Super Battle Droid. I think it's going to happen. I think 2022 is the best year to do it, considering Attack the Clones. Jay Prasad asks, sorry for the late comment, what is the scariest movie you have ever watched? Great question. I don't watch a ton of scary movies. I'm not a huge horror fan. Sorry, Out of the Basement, I'm just not. Probably the scariest movies I've ever seen would be Quiet Place 1 and 2, which aren't terribly scary movies. I just don't really watch scary movies that often. The real Boba Fett himself asks, what is your opinion on Hasbro charging extra for extra paint and soft goods like Cobb Vanth and the Bad Batch Rex? So, Cobb Vanth, I think, is just a blatant ripoff of a deluxe figure. I think Hasbro just used that as an excuse to charge deluxe price, but it should not be deluxe figure. It is 100% a standard release figure. It should be. It doesn't have any extra accessories that a normal Mando figure or any other figure like that would have. The only thing that's different is the extra paint apps, and after looking at a ton of my figures, I didn't notice how little paint apps some of these figures have compared to Cobb Vanth, but a lot of figures do have a lot of paint apps like that too that are still standard release figures. So paint apps are just a basic need for all figures, and they should not be charging extra for paint apps. The Bad Batch Rex, on the other hand, I don't think that they charged it for the soft goods. You could argue that they did, but I think this is one of those where Hasbro knows how popular Rex is, and they know he's going to sell, and so they're going to charge as much as they want for it, and I think that's the reason why they maybe included the soft goods with it, obviously to fit the Bad Batch design, but they could use that as an excuse just to raise the price too. But 100%, it should not be a deluxe figure, should not be that $30 price, which is technically not a deluxe figure. It is a standard exclusive priced figure, but Hasbro is just taking advantage of the Rex fans because they know that he's going to sell. They know how popular the old one is, and any re-release they know is going to sell, so they're just taking advantage of people and raising the price. And you could say, well, no, it is because of soft goods, but there's a ton of figures that have soft good capes that aren't super expensive like that. For example, the new Book of Boba Fett, the new Boba Fett from the Mandalorian line has a super big soft goods cape. It's not. Darth Vader has a very big cape. He doesn't have a deluxe price. Literally, tons of the Jedis like Mace Windu or Plo Koon have a huge cloak. None of them have the extra price either. So I think this is just Hasbro deciding to take advantage of the people that like Rex. And the last question from Commander Thorn. He says, what is your favorite season of the Clone Wars? Great question. I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars, and it's very hard to pick one, but if I did have to pick one, I'd have to go Season 3. As you guys know, I'm a huge Fives fan, and in Season 3, of course, there was the Defend Camino arc, which actually evolved from, the clones as cadets, following Domino Squad, going all the way up to the Battle of Camino, and I just absolutely loved that so much. I'm a huge Heavy fan, I'm a huge Fives fan, and of course Echo, so it was nice to see their character development in the show. And then, obviously that scene also does have the Citadel arc, which is absolutely amazing as well. So I did really like Season 3. But yeah, that is going to do it for the video. If you did enjoy, the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.